Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. I'm Graham Cofe, and in a minute, I'm going to be speaking to June. Hi, June.
Hi Graham, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. It's the start of another week for me. I don't know when people are listening to this. It might be the end of the week, it might be the middle, the start, whatever. But for me personally, it's a Monday. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to talk to you about music. But first, you just have to wait a minute because we're going to have this little video from the guys at Analog Track.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
So, June, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about your life in music. When did it first start for you?
Thank you for having me. I've been singing ever since I was a kid, really. I've always enjoyed music. My dad is a big music fan, so he played a lot of music in the house as I was growing up. But I picked up the guitar, I think I was about 16. But I only just finally decided to go full-time musician at the end of 2023, so I've made it my full-time thing now.
What
So
was
yeah, it's
the
exciting.
catalyst for that? What sort of drove you to? I mean, you probably always wanted to do that, but what
Yeah.
allowed you to do that at the end of that period?
I think it was a lot of different things. I, you know, I was doing a lot of different jobs that were never fulfilling for me because it wasn't music, and that sort of drags you down a bit. And then I had some very serious things happen, like within my family, nearly lost my younger brother, and it was a big scary moment. And it sort of made me realize, along with COVID and everything that was going on, like how short life can be, and that you need to take the opportunity to just do what makes you happy because we're only here once. So that was a big drive for me to make it my full-time job.
I've heard that a lot from artists, sort of because of the COVID period. Obviously, sorry to hear about your brother, and when there's
Yeah,
other
he's doing
personal
much better.
things involved as well. I mean, I think those are catalysts to just focus and do as you say, the thing that actually makes you happy and other people happy as well. I mean,
Yeah.
is that a massive in, influence on that decision as well for you? Is the fact that you know that what you're doing makes other people happy?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this quite recently about like why do I do music? Like obviously I think a lot of musicians love, the attention and people to say, "Oh, it's brilliant," and we all love that a little bit. But I think the main reason that I want to make music is to make people happy, like you just said. So if I can, even if it's just one person's day that I can make a little bit brighter after them listening to some of my music, then that's worthwhile doing for me. And that's why my little logo is the sun, and I want to be sort of like that hope and the happy, bring the happiness and the sunshine. That's my goal.
I also think it's about making people think as well. And
Yeah,
I don't make music per se these days. I still play, etc., but I'm not putting music out there into the world, etc. But I do creative stuff, and I put creative stuff out there day
yeah,
in, day out. And one of the driving things for me is I just feel that like a lot of people don't think these days. We've
mm,
almost kind of with sort of the online world and social media and everything else, it's almost like some people are become very lazy at just considering stuff. You know,
yeah,
we just like almost like take for granted that things, what people say is right or whatever,
mm.
as opposed to actually considering whether that is the truth or whether there's an alternative to that or so does that kind of influence the way you write as well?
Yeah. I mean, a song I wrote with my friend Jack called "Happy Now." That's all about just like making people. It's making people think, like you said, but about realizing what they've got, because a lot of the time it's easy to go, oh, life's rubbish, blah blah blah, this has happened. But there's like lines in that song where it's like, if like you you don't see what's right underneath your nose. Like if you I think it's like, um if you walked in someone else's shoes, then you would essentially just see what you have to lose, because it's easy to think about what things are negative, but sometimes you have to put a spin on actually your life might be a lot better than a lot of other people's, and you should be grateful for what you've got. But yeah, like making people think is a big part of it as well.
Well, I've got to ask you with that. Have you taken the shoes back to the shop yet? The ones without the soles?
No, I don't think I would get a refund on those.
Whose idea was that? I'm talking about in your video. You've got a pair of shoes. You pull them out of the box and you can see right the way through because the soles aren't there. Whose idea was that?
Yeah, that was my idea. So there's a line in Easy Life, which is that's the song that I have this visualizer for. And it's like if I bought a pair of trainers, they'd come with both of the soles cut out. And because I had that line, I knew that I wanted for the artwork to be like looking through the sole of a shoe. But instead of, I'm sure there's plenty of clever people that could have made that with AI or some kind of Photoshop, and instead I got an actual Stanley knife and a shoe that I had, and I cut it out and managed to only get away with a few cuts to my fingers, so it was a success. But yeah, I've still got the shoe. I've kept it because it's going to be a little memory for me.
Oh my word! I love that. It's quite
It's somewhere
satisfying.
here.
Quite satisfying in a way. Oh, she's got them there. She's disappearing off for a minute, and then
It's somewhere. It's literally right here.
here we go.
I've got the shoe.
Look at that.
Here you
See,
go.
you
You can see
all
me
the way
through there.
through it. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, so I kept them.
Is that a metaphor in some ways as well? I mean, actually, I mean the fact that just what we were talking about a minute ago. Do you feel like some people are actually quite soulless these days?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. I have to agree. Some people are that way, and it's sad. But I more wrote it. I wrote the song about the idea of like sometimes it just feels like you can't catch a break, and it's never just like one thing. Things come in. They say that things come in threes, don't they? But it just seemed like everything that I would do that was like at a certain period of my life that was just a normal everyday thing, something would happen to go wrong in it, and that was if I bought a pair of trainers off the internet, they'd probably come with no soles in. You know, that's sort of thought of it. But yeah, no, I like the way you said about that. That's a good idea. Good metaphor.
Where do you see your music going? Because you know, if you listen to your back catalogue of music that you've put out there on Spotify or whatever so far, then you know it's fairly obvious where you started from, kind of the acoustic-y, kind of country kind of line, etc. But you're exploring quite a lot of different ways to embellish that, shall we say, and take that into a slightly different direction. At times, a slightly more commercial direction as well. So, where do you think your music's going style-wise, and do you think you're there yet in terms of what you're entirely happy with, or do you think you're yet to produce something that you're really, really happy with?
I think, well, I've done everything myself from home. So I've taught myself how to record and mix and master and produce from my bedroom. So I'm sort of doing what I can with what I've got. It's not the case of like going to studio and being able to hire all these amazing musicians to play all the instruments for me and just sit and do a session, have a producer in there helping me out.
Then you're doing incredibly well. Well
yeah.
done.
Oh, thank you very much. But yeah, I'm trying to get the sound. I often hear songs in my head and then I have an idea about what I want them to sound like. I listen to and I've been influenced by a lot of different music growing up. So I don't necessarily, I think it's a difficult question when I get asked, well, what genre are you? Because I sort of am exploring different genres. Like, as you sort of mentioned, I'm not like going all into one. Like, there's still an element of me in every single one, like my sound. But I think I'm like, say, Easy Life and Family had more like electric guitars on it. Like Summer Autumn Phenomenon, the one is very acoustic sounding. I've done a cover of The Night, which is a Northern Soul track, which I did for my dad's birthday. But I love so much music, and I don't necessarily want to put myself in a box and say, I just do this type of music, because my next song that's coming out, which is Fool for You, that's going to be a little bit more bluesy. And I just want to keep exploring different, because I love so much music. Like, I was really inspired by Stevie Wonder, Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald growing up, and those kind of voices. And I feel like that comes across a bit more I have a bit more of a soulful tone to my voice, I've been told. But then I write on my acoustic guitar, so then it also tends to have a bit more of an acoustic element to it when I'm writing. So it's, yeah, a bit of a mismatch of genres, but I'm enjoying just creating what I feel like the song sounds like it should be like, and hopefully people like that. And sometimes, you know, you get bands and artists that they stick with that sound, and but then after 4 albums of it, it gets tired, and then they're looking for a new way to explore a different sound. And then you get some of those fans like, no, we want them to carry on the way they were. We don't like the new sound. And I'm just sort of going with each song as it comes, and whatever leads me in my head is where I'm going with it, really.
Oh, never write songs for fans.
Yeah, you got to write them for yourself.
You've got to write them for yourself. You know, well, because they're not fans; they're just customers. If you're writing for them, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, fans ultimately should be people that go along with the journey with you,
Yeah.
and would want you to develop as an artist, and would want you to challenge them as listeners. I think it's difficult these days because I think people's attention span in terms of their listening habits are not as good as they used to be in general.
No.
I mean, that's a generalization, just because of the way that music's consumed.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, if you find your people will want you to progress as you go along. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you have got a soulful voice. I mean, I can hear why you would attack things like the blues, etc. in there. I can understand the sort of northern soul thing, and actually with the electric stuff, I was also hearing people like Lizzie and whatever in there
Oh.
as well. Yeah, are there any sort of like contemporary artists out there at the moment that sort of really catch your attention in terms of the way that they produce stuff?
I mean, I really love like Paolo Nutini because I think he's got like that soulful voice, but he writes acoustic, and but then sometimes he's brought like band elements in, and he's a like electric guitar, sorry, and drums and all that. And I just think,
It's all about the
I
voice.
yeah, that's for me. I mean, I picked up the guitar because I needed a way to go out live and perform, because I started off as a lot of singers do when they don't play an instrument, just doing backing tracks. And I was like, no, I don't want to do the backing tracks. I want to try and play something whilst I'm singing. So the guitar was a secondary. It was always more about my voice, and that was sort of something that I got to support myself. So for me, my music again is, and the reason I love a lot of different artists is more always because I focus on the voice. But as a singer, I probably do that. A guitarist might focus on the guitar parts in a song, and we always like to listen to those parts that we can maybe relate to a bit more. But yeah, it's more about the voice for me.
Cool. If I gave you a blank check tomorrow and said there's Abbey Road, etc., and you can
Yeah.
have whatever you like in there or whoever you like in there, what would you immediately think? Oh, I've got to do this. This is my
I
opportunity.
I would love to get a full jazz band and like a full
Right.
big band. Like when I was younger, I sang with the college jazz band, and we did like Ella Fitzgerald and different like big artists like that. And I loved fronting up and just having like that massive sound behind you. Like it was such an incredible experience. So I think if I had an unlimited budget and could like hire an orchestra or a band, like that would be amazing.
I can see that. I could
Yeah,
completely see that with someone that's a fantastic conductor, scorer
yeah,
as well, that would actually sort of bring some amazing arrangements
yeah.
to it. Yeah,
Like I love what Ray's doing with her, you know, when she does a performance and she has like the full band behind her, and it's incredible
it's
for,
big. It's big. It's
yeah, it's
massive.
massive.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, go big or go home, as they say
Yeah.
at the end of the day. What are you, now that you've sort of come out of the you know, the current experiences that you've been writing about, what are you writing about now?
I I'm trying to write quite a lot of happy, optimistic songs. I mean, besides Easy Life, which we mentioned, that was probably like my only really sad song. Most of my songs are happy, or say what I told my boss, it comes from an angry place, but it's very optimistic overall. It's about learning to spread your wings and learn to fly and, leave that job behind and go and chase your dreams, even though it came from an angry place. But I think most of my music is quite positive, and most of the music that I'm continuing to write because I want to make people feel positive, because I don't know, I feel like there's not enough happy music that's being created at the moment. And when I listen to soul music, and like that kind of music that really lifts my mood, and when I'm sad and I put that on, it really helps me to feel happier. That all the songs that I listen to, they
It's
are
not
very
enough. I
positive.
feel good anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
just
exactly.
like
We need more of that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, or "Lovely Day," Bill Withers. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
what a great
beautiful.
song. Oh, it just lifts your soul, doesn't it? When you listen to a song like that, you just think, wow, yeah, it's a lovely day.
Yeah,
That's a great example, isn't it? Actually, lovely,
it
lovely
is a
day.
good
Because
one.
yeah, I, I I just think that there seems to be a lot of people writing about relationships, but in a um, quite a commercial way, if you know what I
Mm.
mean. And I don't know whether people can necessarily whether do you feel like in a way we've probably lost a little bit of the romanticism of
Yes.
music? Yeah.
This is 100%. This is something I was saying to someone just the other day. I think if the young people of today listen to soul music in the way that people did when soul music was really big, there'd be so much more romance. I feel like all the romance is lost because a lot of the songs now is about going out partying or breaking up or like not
Just
really
having
caring.
sex, one
Yeah,
night
yeah, where
stands. Yeah.
when you listen to the lovely lyrics in a lot of these beautiful soul songs, and they're about like really appreciating your partner and them being like on a pedestal almost. And I feel like that's a big reason why there's less romance nowadays, is because people don't listen to that music. I did a post on TikTok about tell me your favorite Northern Soul song, and so many beautiful songs came across, and I was listening to all of it, and I was like, pretty much all of these songs are about love. And yeah, I feel like that's sort of been like lost a bit. Like not many young people will know what Northern Soul is. Some of my friends asked me about it, and I was like, listen to this, and they're like, wow, it's brilliant. And it's like, yeah, it's been lost, and it's sad, but trying to
and the
re
and the dancing was good as well, right?
yeah, yeah, I wish I could do it. I'm gonna like try and practice it in my bedroom. Maybe one day I'll be able to grace one of the Northern Soul events that still go on.
Would you like to sing at a live sort of Northern Soul event? Would
Yeah,
that be sort of a yeah?
that'd be
There you go.
amazing. And watching everyone dance to my singing would be incredible. Yeah.
Perhaps what you ought to do, as well as like your own music and whatever, is you ought to do like DJ sets of Northern Soul. Perhaps you could like do
Yeah,
whole evenings. That would be good. You could do a
that
bit
would
of
be good.
you could DJ, do some Northern Soul, get people in the mood, then do a live set, then finish off, do another set. That would be great. You could get paid for the whole evening.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Learn to dance in the meantime and whatever
Yeah.
else is. Yeah. Oh, so what's your sort of big ambition for 2025? What do you want to achieve by the end of this year?
Yeah, so at the start of this year, I actually did like a bit of a manifestation board and like put in what I want to achieve. And festivals was a big thing. It's something that I really want to do festivals, big festivals this summer. And actually, now I say it, I should mention that I've literally just been shortlisted for Truck Festival, which is a big festival.
Massive
It was
festival.
amazing to get the email through saying you've been shortlisted, and there's a public vote. So two of the 100 odd artists who've been shortlisted from the thousands of applications can get a slot by getting a public vote. So if anybody's watching this and it's before Wednesday the 26th, then please give me a little vote on the Truck Festival website. That would be much appreciated.
Okay,
But
I'm
yeah,
making a note because what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and cut that bit out, make that into a little clip on its own, and then you can just post it everywhere so
oh,
that
thank you.
with the link, right, to Truckfest. It's called Truckfest, isn't it?
Yeah, Truck Fest, yeah. And yeah, it's got a great lineup as well, so I really hope I
Fantastic
can
lineup.
play
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Fingers crossed for you. What? Any others on the cards as well? You said Truckfest.
I've
What?
I've applied for lots. I'm waiting to hear back. But if I get that one, it'll be a massive festival. But I'm also doing one a bit earlier than the summer. So in April, on the 5th of April, I'm going up to the northeast. I'm going up to Newcastle and I'm playing at Alias Alternative Festival, which is
Cool.
going to be a brilliant festival. There's a great lineup again for that one. And that's at the Globe in Newcastle. So, but you can get your tickets through Sofa Sounds for that one. So it should be a good
Oh,
day.
fantastic. And folks, if you're listening and you're organising a festival, June would love to hear from you, especially if you're doing a Northern Soul type festival.
Yeah, that
She,
would be awesome.
she'd love to be there. She'd love to be, represent at that festival for you. What about more new music? Will you be putting out regularly some music throughout 2025, or are you going to sort of like have a break whilst you do the festivals and whatever?
Well, actually, I was quite good at like getting them out sort of one every month, one every 2 months last year. And then I think my last one that I released was in September. And then I've had a bit of a pause over like the Christmas period and stuff. And I've got the new song ready, which is coming out on the 21st of March, and that's Fool for You. And then I've actually got plans to hopefully do my first EP because I've released like eight eight or nine singles now, or with the new one it'll definitely be nine at least. So I feel like I need to now have a bit more of a body of work. I know nowadays it tends to be single after single and hit them with the singles, but I think now I've done so many, I would quite like to have a little a small EP for so that I can also get some printed, and then when I'm at shows I can have some like merch there, because I've got my t-shirts now for gigs, and people are wearing them and it's amazing to see because I've got my little June army going on. But
I
yeah,
love that.
with the
The
sun on their back, so it's
June
nice.
Army.
But
That's
yeah, so some EPs would be great so that people, because people always ask me, oh, can I buy some of your music? And I'm like, I haven't got any out like physically to sell you. But yeah, it'd be nice to get some music on an EP.
it's funny, isn't it? I mean, there's a load of people every day. I meet people that go, "Oh, no one buys music anymore. They just stream it." Etc. It's absolute rubbish.
Yeah,
Especially people that love music, people that are going to gigs, etc. They want to buy physical music because they want to
yeah,
support the musician making that music. I think that's the important thing. I think people are beginning to realise that whilst being able to call up whatever or dial up whatever you want when you want it is great for discovering new music or whatever, it doesn't. I think because artists are talking more and more about it,
yeah,
and good on people like Chapel Roan for actually bringing it to the forefront at big events and whatever, like the Grammys.
yeah,
I, I think people are generally beginning to realise that if they don't actually put money in the hands of artists, that people will stop making music because they
yeah.
just can't continue to do it.
Can't afford to do it. The thing is, like, the musicians get paid so little, but in actually creating music costs so much. Like if you were to go into a studio and hire a producer and musicians to play on you, it's thousands and thousands of pounds. And yeah, if we're not getting paid to do it, then it's a vicious
Bad.
circle. So
I know. Well, and I'm sorry, folks, if you hear me bang on about this on this program a lot, but we have to, because we just have to educate people, and it might be the first time that someone's tuned into this. So if it hits their ears and they realise and it pricks their conscience and they suddenly think, oh yes, I've actually got to buy some physical copies of albums and whatever, or go onto the artist site and buy a t-shirt or whatever, because all of it helps. It
it
really
does.
does. Even this. I mean, even getting this out, people assume, June, that like this just happens. that I'm just like free to do this all day long for the
Yeah,
sake of it. And we've started. Sorry, blatant little plug in the middle of this, but we have started a supporters club for this now. It's £1 a month, for goodness sake, or £10 for the year. You can be part of it. You can actually. We have a community that we've started. A lot of musicians are coming in there as well, and you can be part of that community. So it's not just a kind of, oh, I'll give you money and I'll listen to what I'm already listening. There's behind the scenes stuff and conversations you can have with musicians as well. It's just great, right?
yeah,
But it all helps, as Tesco says. every little helps, and that's how musicians feel about it as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? Just that little bit, just every time you add someone's song to a playlist, or just stop and say thank you for making that music, it really lights up every musician's day.
It does.
You've been great today. Thank you so much for coming along. Before you leave us, I've asked this a lot lately of guests, but I like it. It's a great question, and it's one I don't hear interviewers ask enough. How can the people out there help you today?
Oh yeah, well, obviously, as you've mentioned, um, buying merch is fantastic, but you can come to my gigs. That would be amazing. Sometimes I'm doing, free gigs, so it doesn't cost you a penny. If you do want to come and support me and come to one that is a paid event, even better. But come and see me live because I love to meet you. As Graham just said, like even if you just say thank you. I love your song. Like it honestly makes my day when I get messages from people. It's art that I've created, and if you like it, then please let me know because it does make my day. It brightens my mood. But yeah, if you want to come to a gig and say hi, like I'm always happy to come and chat to people after the show. And yeah, if you can vote for me for this festival, that's a way that you can help me today because that would be amazing if I could play a big festival like that this summer. I think it could open a lot of doors for me to get my music out to more people and meet more of you. But yeah, just engaging with my posts on my social medias. If you want to follow me, I'm June Holland Music on pretty much all of the social medias. And yeah, just engage with me. Let me know if you're enjoying stuff, and let's make a little community. It'd be lovely to say hello.
Absolutely, June. Pleasure to meet you. Absolute
It's
pleasure
lovely
to
to
meet
meet you
you.
too.
Folks, do go and add something of June Holland's music to your playlist now. Go and do it. Just don't even think about it. Go and do it right this minute. You can even come off of this podcast to go and do it, and I don't mind that you don't hear the last part of the podcast. It's more important that you support the artist. We will see June at some of these great festivals, which she will get into because of you out there, right? You will make this happen at some point during the summer, and let's hope this is the summer for you, June, where it really takes off. I really do hope that. You've been
Thank
watching
you.
My Music. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation today. If you want to catch up on previous episodes of this, you can at mymusicpodcast.com. And we thank you for just taking the time out of your day to stop and listen to us. Until next time, bye for now.